everyone, and welcome to the third session of our Q&A offering. So we bring this to you because every month we get many questions from US survivors globally, and we know that some of what you ask other survivors may want to have answered as well. So big thank you from us to you for doing that. So as we're heading into May, I just want to say it's getting a little bit colder here in New Zealand, and I'm sure for you in other parts of the world it might be getting warmer, so enjoy that. Anyway, let's launch in. So question number 1 for this week, and by the way, if you have a question, please email us at contactus@handingtheshameback.org. That's contact us at handingtheshameback.org, and we will do our very best to respond to your question, or you can just put them into any Facebook or Instagram posts or whatever platform you watch us on. Here goes. Question number 1. So we don't mention your name because some people like to have confidentiality, but I think this will help the educators out there. Gloria, firstly, I think you are an amazingly inspirational woman. I am not a survivor, but I'm a primary school teacher in Australia, and I want to help vulnerable kids as best I can. I just wanted to ask, how do you explain the handshake to younger children without scaring them or confusing them? Well, that's a really good question, and I think it could be used by parents and other safe adults everywhere too, the response I'm going to give you. So first of all, thank you for wanting to help protect our vulnerable younger children. Secondly, I think how we best communicate with children is through play. So I think if you can create a situation where you have a little bit of a game that you're playing, and there could be an uncomfortable moment where you as a teacher say, I don't feel very comfortable with that. How can I show that I'm not comfortable with that? And just gently starting to show children what boundaries are. I think that's a first step rather than launching straight into the hand sign and explaining what that is. Start with some boundary sessions. I think the second part to that is then looking at body safety rules, and as you'll know in the Keeping Kids Safe book, there's a section on that, on tips for children, and I think if you go to that chapter you'll see there's a whole section designed to inform you on best way to educate children on body safety rules. So some simple aspects of that are, your body belongs to you. No one can touch the private parts of your body unless it is you, or unless it is a medical person with your mum or dad there. So there's a couple of simple things I think you need to do before you get straight into the hand sign. I think once children are a little more aware of what boundaries are and how their body belongs to them, and that they can say no or they can move away, I think then you can get into the hand sign. Now, depending on where you are in the governance at your school, and I hate to do this red tape stuff with you, but I need to protect you as well, you may need to get permission from your school trustees or board, simply because people get funny with this type of thing. But I applaud what you're doing. Thank you so much from New Zealand. We're thrilled that you're taking an interest and wanting to teach children the hand sign. Very important that they have that as a tool. Okay, moving on to our next question. Hey, just getting through the book, Keeping Kids Safe, and I thought it may be of service to survivors to feel heard afterwards. If there was a Handing the Shame Back private group for those who have read the book and wish to contribute and discuss it, like a book club that could offer insights from others with different trauma experiences and insights, this would align with why survivors lay formal complaints to stop the offenders from reoffending, yet very rarely secure this through a formal process. Handing the Shame Back private group could support this intent. Thanks again for striving for your recovery. So yes, I did say that was the Keeping Kids Safe book, but I think what you're referring to is the second book, which is Flight Path to Healing, and all of these are listed on our website, handingtheshameback.org, under store. But I think if you're referring to a support group for survivors, you're very welcome to go ahead and set one up. If you want to have like a book club or a support group through Handing the Shame Back, feel free to email us at contactus@handingtheshameback.org. We are a very tiny team. Our fabulous executive assistant, Kate, carries a lot of the load with this. But I think you can set up a group, and that could be very useful, and even in your local area if that was of interest. Now, the reason I'm not personally offering to do anything is, frankly, I just don't have any capacity, survivors. I'm doing as many hours as I can and have so much on my plate already. So I'm not going to do what we as survivors do and overcommit and say yes to things that I can't. But I am going to encourage you to set something up if you would like to, and feel free to reach out for any advice you need on that, and we will see what we can do. Great question. Thank you. Next question. Hi, can I ask your advice on how to help my child who has to stay with his abusive father because the authorities in my country don't believe me? Gosh, that's heartbreaking to hear, and it's heartbreaking for you as the mum and for your child. Look, really, at the end of the day, all you can do is keep trying to signal people that this child is at risk. Record whatever information you can. Listen to what your child says without asking leading questions. But I think as well, if you don't have to have this child with the father quite as often, I would make sure this child was unavailable as much as you could. I think it's almost impossible to try and combat what you know to be true when you've got authorities that don't pay attention to this. As a mum, I would just make it almost impossible for your child to be available to go to an abusive parent, because at the end of the day, we're trying to protect these children. If you're not getting authorities listening to you, I would try any and all other avenues available. Unfortunately, I don't know what country you're in, so I don't know who I can refer you to, but start Googling about care and protection of children, and where you could perhaps find some other resources on that. My heart goes out to you. I don't think there's anything worse than having that knowledge and not being able to protect your child. So sending love from us here at Handing the Shame Back. Final question. Hi, Gloria. Thanks for your courage and bravery. I'm sorry, some of us have to experience this. I was wondering if you knew any support in Australia. I've been isolated for a long time in dealing with the results of this. Thank you for making this known. Look, again, thanks for your courage and bravery in reaching out. I do know of the Blue Knot Foundation in Australia, and I do know of No Laughing Matter, which is a podcast with resource to help survivors of this type of abuse. Apart from that, you could try local community areas. And just so you know, we stand beside you wherever you are in the world. I'm unsure of where I can refer you to, apart from authorities over there who deal with us, but I would recommend getting as much support as you can. There are community groups, I'm sure there will be over there, but hold your head up high. You are seen, you are believed, and we stand beside you. So that's it for this month, guys. Please feel free, reach out, contact us at handingtheshameback.org, and if you have a question and it's important to you to have it answered, I promise we do our very best to get responses to you. In the meantime, stay safe, and please know we are always here.